This video is sponsored by ExpressVPN. Toy Story shorts. Those are a thing. If you've been around DisneyPlus, maybe you've been recommended a couple of them. It's kind of confusing to follow. Here's the whole Toy Story franchise library. There are, of course, the 4 mainline Toy Story movies. Then, during the Toy Story 3 phase, there is Toy Story Toons. 3 of them. Small Fry, Hawaiian Vacation, and Partysaurus Rex. Then you've got 2 television specials for Halloween 2013 and Christmas 2014. Then, for the Toy Story 4 era, there's Forky Asks a Question, which is 10 separate micro-episodes. There's Disney Pixar's Lamplight, not even Toy Story in the title. And then, of course, Lightyear, and a behind-the-scenes doc of it. You get all that? Today, we're tackling the meat in the middle. No main lines, no Lightyear, no Forky, because that's barely any content at all, and no Pixar popcorn, because that's a season of 10 episodes from all sorts of Pixar IPs. This thing's grounds for a whole other spin-off episode. But first, hop onto the opportunity of a discount from the iconic ExpressVPN. With a VPN, you can gain a multitude of internet perks. Fitting for me, I always use a VPN to circumnavigate across Netflix using different countries, since Netflix has different selections based on where you are. And though they've recently raised their prices again, using a VPN I can make sure I get my money's worth. Same with DisneyPlus, which ExpressVPN is specifically helping out for a video like this, going through their ever-changing library. Such as how Chainsaw Man is not available in DisneyPlus here in the UK, but over in Japan, it is searchable and accessible that way. It's also a nice little way to stick it to less ethical practices of modern tech companies that make us the product, selling our personal data and tracking our searches, history, and just about everything. But with ExpressVPN, it is made far more difficult for them to exploit my data for their own profits and anonymizes much of my online presence. It's just logical safety at this point. So I would highly recommend it, as it's a product I too very much take in. So with that in mind, go to expressvpn.com/DazzReviews to get an extra 3 months of ExpressVPN for free. Link can be found in the description box below. Thank you again to ExpressVPN for sponsoring this video, and to anyone who clicks my link, you will be helping to directly support the channel. So thank you so much. Let's jump right into things in chronological order, that being the first Toy Story 3's Toy Story Toons Hawaiian Vacation. These 3 toons are each like half a year apart, so this one came out alongside Cars 2, and was directed by Gary Rydstrom, the guy who attempted Newt, Anyway, this 6-minute episode all focuses on Barbie and Ken as they are hoping to join Bonnie as the family go to Hawaii for winter break, as this story takes place 3 months after Toy Story 3. However, after stowing away in Bonnie's bag...
You can put my luggage right here.
Ken, this is Bonnie's bedroom.
What?
They come to find their plans are ruined, as Bonnie has left her school bag behind, of course. And what's worse, Ken was hoping to set up a romantic kiss at sunset for Barbie, but obviously can't now.
This is where he planned to have our very first kiss.
And so despite being in the opposite season, the rest of the room work together to recreate Hawaii as best they can with what they've got to try and set up the moment for Barbie and Ken anyway. Doing so somewhat in an assortment of charming ways.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, beautiful.
Following a real Hawaii brochure along the way. It's simple, it's wholesome, and it's pretty nice and creative as well. Gags ensue of all sorts of variety until it finally comes to the big moment.
Looks like she does have this one covered.
I'll get the shovel.
Nice, sweet, funny, and amicable. It's nothing special, but a nice display of some toily creativity and a plausible detour you could see all these characters going through. Not to mention so many gags crushed into a 6-minute runtime. They've even got a post-credit scene for a mini-episode. The whole set of Toy Story side stories aren't gonna be this basic, mind you, as even episode 2 is now doubled in size. Toy Story Toons Small Fry is all about a mini Buzz Lightyear with a disproportionately large head. Man, they really enjoy their Buzz Lightyear clone, So this one actually feels like a creative new extension to the universe that makes sense, that couldn't carry an entire movie. It's fast food kids meal toys. You know, the knickknacks of toys. So this one puts Bonnie at Poultry Palace, forget Pizza Planet, as she selects a kids meal, of course. This month sponsoring the universe of Lightyear. And this Buzz being a Buzz, of course, can't stomach standing still and watching all the fun happily, especially after witnessing our Buzz out there as a potential opportunity. And so hops into action he does.
I think I just found our ticket to playtime. See ya, Zergy.
And with that switcheroo, we have room for a B-plot as well. The small fry Buzz has infiltrated Bonnie's room.
I'm Buzz Lightyear. I come in peace.
And is of course trying to insert themselves into the mix, whilst our Buzz sees behind the curtain into the world of fast food.
Blast.
Naturally, even though somehow the mum has no apparent perception of proportions, our gang clearly knows what's up immediately. And as for our Buzz,
I think there's been a mistake. You see, I was just left in the ball pit.
turns out kids' meal toys are accustomed to being abandoned and forgotten. Not to mention they each come with their own gimmicks and varieties.
Why don't the kids like me? I'm like history, but on wheels!
Even setting up a support group for the bunch of them. It's an excuse for Pixar to stretch their creative juices some more by playing around with ideas for doofy toy designs.
Get along, little piggy.
Small Fry Buzz, of course, refuses to assist with recovering his counterpart or even playing nicely with the others, as they are just in it for themselves. Whilst our Buzz is disallowed from escaping through the vent up top, instead taking part in activities.
How am I gonna get up there?
But as Buzz clicks on a way to leave using one of them, off he goes.
Gary, do you mind?
Yeah, sure, whatever. Whoa!
And poor Lizard Wizard, clearly the guy's going through something.
Buzz! He left.
I'm glad Pixar has learned of the perfectly cut scream. So the two plots start to merge in the middle as the gang plan to infiltrate Poultry Palace.
We could drive a truck through the front door!
Or you could use the drive-through.
Well, there goes the tale. But it's not all the end from there.
But with the help of my sponsor, the real prize is inside of each and every one of us.
As Buzz has joined right alongside him too. And still joins the support group where he can, it seems.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, and it turns out that the 12-minute runtime was still 6 minutes. Just the entire second half was put to credits. I mean, it's nice to see they had such a solid theming with the fast food menu idea, but did it have to take up 50%? I feel like I enjoy these projects more for the creativity behind the concepts more than anything else. Would have thought that the Toy Story concepts would have so many implications to explore. And again, there's a brief post-credits with Small Fry Zurg and his badge speaking as well.
Belt buckle, you crack me up sometimes.
Nice. I think this one I like more than Hawaiian Vacation so far. It's similarly as creative, but love the way that the plot splits in two. Would have been better if they actually infiltrated Poultry Palace. And you gotta love Lizard Wizard. Finally, for the Toy Story Toons, we come to our final installment, Partysaurus Rex. This time expanding onto bath toys, of course. And Rex is at the center of it all. This time coming in at 9 minutes long. Nope. No, you're not getting me this time, it's still 6. Rex is seen as the party pooper of the group, since within the first 5 seconds of the short, he's panicked over getting bubble soap on the floor. This is some incredible pacing to get the idea across, I'll certainly give it that. And just as quickly, Bonnie swipes him up and takes him over to the bath.
Rex will be perfect for the search party.
Whoa, nice, and a Godzilla reference in there. You gotta appreciate how Pixar manages to fit in all these extra fan services against such a micro episode. But yes, it's all part of Bonnie's playtime in the bath, until just as quick it's all over, and the many toys around the bath can awaken with their real thoughts.
You were way scarier than the last sea monster.
What a different opinion these guys have of Rex, and he's aware of it. Time for an identity change.
Partysaurus Rex!
But when you think about the idea of sentient bath toys, there's something you gotta address pretty quickly.
When bath time's done, there's no more fun.
Actually, it sounds like quite a tragic reality, only being useful or even mobile for a fraction of the day, and not to mention, you have to remain in your object form while the child is even in the room. It's a very small window in there, and they don't have any arms. But these guys want a party, and there's only one way to make that happen with Rex's grand ability of having hands. Short hands, but they're hands.
Well, I've got arms. I could get this party started up in here.
The guy who's usually the most cautious is now taking the dive, and the party is ready to continue on. It's the best day of their lives, and they're not gonna live it down.
Check me out!
Bit of a mystery how they managed to not get heard this whole time, but sure.
some of you. Why not all of you?
It's a full-on rave now, something I don't think the target demographic of this movie would have ever experienced before, but okay. It's a nice flip side of philanthropy that Rex can provide, except...
Well, this dude really knows how to party.
We will overflow.
It's time to leap off the deep end, as they've even clogged the drain that will mediate the water. And though Rex has come to his senses regarding this disaster,
Okay, too much water, everybody.
it's all to fall apart from here. What's the lesson? Don't party? I don't know.
Sir, this party is out of control.
I know. Out of control.
Whatever the case, as Rex comes to witness the over-barrage of bubbles, he finally works out a plan.
That was close.
It wasn't the best of plans, but again, great integration with reality to make everything make sense, whilst being a great piece of action, as Rex is overwhelmed, a hero to the bath people, but soon to be an aquatic liability.
Are you okay in there?
Everyone is upset, Mr. Potato Head gets his comeuppance, and Rex is seen as the party animal he is.
Duty calls.
Bit of a weird one, this one, but hey, you can tell someone said at the writer's table, hey, what about bath toys? And this came of it. It's nice, and the actual coloring and directing is fantastic considering there is a lot going on in front of your face. Wouldn't say it's as creative from a writing perspective as the past two tunes, but it's enjoyable. Not a bad first rave. But now it's time to upgrade our spin-offs. Coming out of the Toy Story Toons collection, we're now getting to the Toy Story 3 television specials. Whilst the past three examples all showcased in cinemas in some form, these next two were direct-to-TV and themed over holiday events. Starting in 2013 now, so 3 years since the film, we've now got a runtime of 21 minutes. And the credits are just on the side this time. Starting off with the Halloween one, Toy Story of Terror, with a reimagining of old-school black and white horror aesthetics. Wow.
Watch out! He's right behind you!
Bonnie is being driven on this dreary, stormy night to her grandmother's, but one flat tire later, of course, and they must stay at a creepy, cheap motel. It's your standard setup for horrible things to happen. And Mr. Pricklepants knows all of the tropes.
Patience. All great horror films start slowly. You see, they're designed.
And I love how everyone reacts differently, Buzz talking tactics instead. Meanwhile, Jessie has her personality trait of claustrophobia and fear in full force. Not to mention having some bad luck on the side as well.
Help! Get me out of here!
But eventually, they're settled in their room, and being the adventurous kind, they come out to investigate once Bonnie has gone to bed.
We're at a motel. I just want to check out the amenities. The first to leave usually gets it.
Each with their own contributions and decent reasons for being a part of this episode. There's a mystery to this room, and what's more...
Wait, where's Potato Head?
And so it begins.
something dreadful is afoot as well. Now bringing them underneath the floorboards where Buzz can glow in the dark. I love every time they reveal more of Buzz's glow in the dark element. I forget about it every time, and it works so well to add some atmosphere.
He was the only one who knew what the heck was going on!
But yes, they're each being picked off by some beast one by one, leaving it down to just 3. God, that's horrifying. It's fine in Toy Story logic, but geez. And as the 3 and that hand escape to a bathroom stall, eventually we come to witness Jessie is singled out.
Buddy, Buzz!
And since you're halfway through the video so far, do consider subscribing, or send us suggestions for this new spin-off series. I'd love to see more expansions of these animated movies I love. And check out the shorts, live, and community tabs on our channel for more stuff.
Combat Carl's seen things. Horrible things.
Never mind, it's a Combat Carl here to rescue them, warning her that her only chance is to escape back to her owner, while she asserts that she's gonna find her friends. And then it reappears.
Carl, wait! Carl!
Forget about Combat Carl! Just go!
It's only Jessie left, cornering herself in a shower as it's the best she can do. Is this a vague Psycho reference? Turns out it's an iguana that's been stalking around the place this whole time, and a very dog-like one at that, daintily placing her somewhere with a bell announcement. everything loops back to the motel owner, who's another chicken man.
It's the Chicken Man!
An adult hoping to sell the toys for profit on eBid.
All clear.
Jesse!
Buzz.
I'm so glad you're safe.
Everyone is fine and in one piece. They're just collected in a glass cabinet. Also, Combat Carl Jr. is here.
Combat Carl would like to introduce you to his 1/3 scale counterpart, Combat Carl Jr.
Ma'am?
And despite the paperclip plan of action, is unsuccessfully able to get them out, just as Woody has sold for $2,000. Well, I'm glad to finally learn the actual value of the doll, though somehow I thought it'd be higher.
Jonesy, we got another gold mine.
You got a guest with a flat tire that needs fixing?
Absolutely. Come on, I'll show you the way.
But now an opportunity has opened up as Jesse is released onto the outside, ready to save Woody as he's been boxed out and shipped.
Remember your training!
But I don't have any training.
And you know, these shows have a lot of meme material. I'm pretty sure I've seen this one vaguely around. It's great. This is a Jessie episode through and through, and what more way to challenge this character than by having her have to handle more boxes and styrofoam. In order to save Woody, she has to empty a box, get in, close herself in, and take the brunt of it.
Seal me in. Wait! Don't tape it! I won't be able to get out!
Are you sure about this?
No, not really.
Not taping it makes it not that bad after all, except for one last thing.
Oh, I forgot the tape again.
What? No!
The worker notices and her worst fears are discovered. It's actually kinda tense considering it's literally just tape, and they keep up the claustrophobia element. It's really good. And just as quickly, Bonnie's car has been sorted. Ugh.
Excuse me, coming through.
But she overcomes, finds a way out with that trusty paperclip, and things are looking up.
She never gets... Jessie finds a way!
And just like that, she manages to save Woody.
Look, they're coming back!
Oh my god, but there's more. As Jessie wants to expose that they're stolen to Bonnie, reveal this conspiracy, and save all the toys in one fell swoop. All that needs to be done is open the curtain to reveal the back rooms. Just gotta fight the iguana first.
My hand!
See? Told ya.
Before eventually...
Come and get it!
My toys!
No!
Bonnie's been missing her toys this whole time anyway, so for them to be deemed as stolen rather than lost is a great turn for the toys, as well as Bonnie.
Come on, buddy, let's go.
And the mum can make some phone calls to have the guy receive justice.
We ain't never gonna get separated again. Aw, nuts.
And thus they drive off into the sunrise and our credits roll. Side space with what happens next to all the other toys. Hopping onto a moving truck a la Toy Story 1 as the motel owner is approached by the authorities. Sorry if you noticed the spoilers from the last preview.
Told you not to leave the keys in the car.
Jesus. This project clearly had way more production value and time put into it compared to the 3 mini-episode toons, but boy does it stand out. This was a stellar story all the way through, from everyone's contributions, to Jessie's genuine character development that stems from the mainline movies, to the events, the comedy, the characters, all of it puts this as my absolute favorite so far. Yes, it is treading a little on Toy Story 2, but Toy Story of Terror now stands at the top against all 3 toons. Time to move on for some more. Jumping ahead in the timeline to 15 months later, although Bonnie is still the same-ish age as ever, we come to Toy Story The Time Forgot. The Christmas special that they obviously couldn't slap out just 3 months later. Now this one is all about dinosaurs, as Bonnie is enjoying the Christmas period, but is heading over to visit a friend of hers with a very different taste and status when it comes to toys. And on the theme of dinosaurs, there is of course Trixie the dinosaur, who's never actually been played with as a dinosaur before, which leaves her perturbed.
Aw, don't worry, Trixie. Next time you'll be a dinosaur for sure.
There's also now this Christmas ornament added into place, speaking in ominous words of deep wisdom.
Limitations are the shackles we bind to ourselves.
And so as Bonnie comes to visit Mason, he's far more interested in playing video games with his brand new console.
Gotta be kidding me! He got an Optimum X for Christmas!
So the rest of the toys are relegated to the other room, which it turns out is an old school toy paradise. And a dinosaur one at that. The whole room is a set piece with a giant consistent branding across it from one particular toy franchise.
Oh, look at them!
And seemingly, these guys are really into roleplay.
Speak swiftly, foolish outlanders, or suffer my battle blade.
And at the center of it all is the Dino Prince Reptilus Maximus, who seems enamored by Trixie as well.
What fearsome dinosaurs are these?
Who?
I am Reptilus Maximus.
The handsome, flirty Dino Prince. But then comes our episode's Palpatine, the cleric as he's known, who's disgruntled by Buzz and Woody's snickering demeanor, which they're doing so because this guy's really into his roleplay.
Strangers from the unforgiving outlands. I find their lack of armor disturbing.
They then go on to upgrade Trixie with some more armor parts, as that is just the necessities of this world. And also weapons. Weapons are on her shoulders.
Trixie! Trixie!
Of course, Rex clearly gets the best deal out of all of it. And in case the evil hints weren't enough, the cleric also has the Eye of Sauron element to them as well. We then come to learn that this entire set of battle saws have never been played with before by Mason since they were bought for Christmas 2 days ago. And because of this, they are not even aware that they are toys, though they do seem to have their theme song ingrained into their brains.
Battle saws! Battle saws!
It's Buzz Lightyear syndrome on an entire collection, and what better way to learn that than by brutally taking out the other toys they had previously taken prisoner in an awful Colosseum arena fight. And what's next? Buzz and Woody are next on the chopping board, against a super agile Dino Prince with no intention to pull back.
They don't even know they're toys!
Incredible, isn't it?
And now we know all the context, it's time for battle. It genuinely seems kinda tense, since it feels like the pair are in genuine danger. You're worried for Woody's stitching and all that. I didn't think I would ever care. But as Trixie hops in, pushes Reptilus, and they start to win, a giant beast is hired to swallow them whole. All would be lost if not for one final twist on Trixie's part. Everyone is dumbfounded as she exposes her branding, a written loyalty to her child, an experience that none of them have had before. It's a moment of recognition briefly for Reptilus, if it wasn't for the cleric labeling Trixie as a heretic for having branding, as well as
Rhaegon, the Supplicator.
force controlling Rex's robo-arms in order to attain her. Now it's a fight between friends too, in an interesting yet brief way. But with all hope lost, Trixie blasts out of there and Reptilus is sent to trail her.
Reptilus, stop her!
It's a more action-fed version of the Buzz reveal, as the box of Reptilus' origins is laid out directly in front of him. He is a toy, a child's plaything, not a genuine fighter sent to defend his kingdom. And the cleric knows this and just opts for their assumed power, reaching Woody and Buzz from the giant beast, where they can now see that the cleric has been aware of their toily reality.
Hey, that's Mason and Bonnie!
And as long as Mason is distracted by his video games, the cleric can maintain total control over this room and all of its entities. And now he intends to shred Woody and Buzz in an air vent. All the while Trixie has full-on left the room and headed to Mason's gaming console to find a solution. Her plan is to cut off the console power in order to force Mason into the other room and have everyone surrender to child playtime just one time. It is an event that will broaden all horizons and give all a new perspective, learning their toy reality and coming to be less authoritative and controlled.
You can be so much more! And you know it!
Just takes some convincing to have Reptilus make that choice to press the button.
It's about being there for your kid.
Surrender.
And so he does, and for the first time becomes an emblem for childlike joy.
Oh, what planet is he from? Neptune. Or maybe Florida.
Just in time for Buzz and Woody to avoid being shredded at the last second. The toys, of course, going static involuntarily, and poor Cleric visibly distraught over these turn of events. But for Reptilus, he's never felt more important. It's the joy of being a toy, and it all stems from Trixie's contributions on this Christmas special visit. A toy's first experience being played with, and an emotional moment if the score is to be believed.
That was glorious.
So, shall we say Tuesday around 3:30?
With our episode ending off telling the tales at home.
Bonnie's dinosaur gets to be everything.
And finishing up on that darn Christmas ornament again.
Be grateful for your gifts. They are all around you. Aww.
Oh, okay. And we once again have the credits to the side of the screen as Reptilus has the marking of Mason on his hand.
My heart will burn bright Tuesday around 3:30.
It's another sweet extended tale that's a neat direction, an entire set piece, and a hint of video games, I guess. Though this one is kind of treading on the same old tales of toys don't know their toys, which kind of loses me. It seems more like a reinterpretation of their first movie, this time with more graphical improvements and some neat new circumstances and directing. It's solid, but certainly not the best out of what we've seen. So I'd say it ranks as 4th. Not as creative as it could have been, but a sweet story overall. Tried and tested, but decent. And finally, for today, we come to the timeline of Toy Story 4. Again, skipping all of the Pixar popcorns, all the forky questions, which legit have so little substance to them, I couldn't even try to make any content out of them. Instead, we sit solely on Disney Pixar Lamp Life. This is not a sequel to Toy Story 4, it's an extension of the in-betweens, following what happened to Bo Peep the entire time between her separation post-2 and pre-4. So really, I guess this is all the same time period, huh? This project now releases 6 years after that last TV special over directly to DisneyPlus in January of 2020, 7 months after Toy Story 4. So here, while it is the same night of Toy Story 4's ending, and we do get to see where Bo and Woody go to after that point, this short covers Bo Peep's story as she retells it. It's all done via narration.
Hey, Bo, why don't you tell him your story?
First telling of how she was replaced into the possession of another younger girl, having good times with this new one.
We had some nice moments. In a lamp kind of way.
With all sorts of playtime experiences, though she wasn't allowed to necessarily play with a lamp.
No! Put that down. This is not a toy. No, no, no.
Other times it was more of a grind to get through, and then we learned she was treated a little more recklessly with a younger owner, damaged mostly in the stick multiple times, before being moved for safety in a more desolate place.
You gotta cry it out!
With a side of bad parenting as 2 children are brought into the mix. And it just seems to get worse as these kids are a bit scrappy. And soon enough, she was rejected by her kids as they grew older, plonked into a donation box and routinely rejected, before being picked up by the strangest detour.
What? It's a baby lamp?
What's it gonna do with that?
I love how she continues to express in her frozen form. So much character coming out from what is essentially the same static shots. And from there, Pixar whips out all the more creativity they can think of with the same composition. Moths, ships, snow, cats, streets.
As you know, appliances have a shelf life, and we were definitely not on a shelf.
Until eventually they were in disarray, being repaired at that classic vintage shop.
We're good. Even if a little stuck.
Though this time glued together, so not exactly perfect.
Playground!
I realized. The playground.
And on that epiphany, they choose to abandon the lamp and become exclusively toys, escaping the overprotected shop and avoiding Best Boy. Now, finally, with some new camera angles as we reach new freedom grounds.
There is no security system in the antique store.
Well, not anymore.
Before running out into the playground, born anew with a great lifestyle and a new sense of purpose.
We're off to be lost toys.
That all happened?
Yeah. Well, more or less.
The gang then choose to run off on the fanfare rooftops, happy to live their new lifestyle choices together. It's the most closure we'll get out of the Toy Story saga, the latest part of the timeline. If you don't count the fact that there's another full Toy Story movie coming sometime soon, apparently. And for one final time, of course, they threw me off course again with a 12-minute promise that is 50% credits, of course. Every time. This short is great for how limited it is. The camera work is staying consistent for the majority of the runtime and is using that foundation to tell an interesting story in an interesting way. Not to mention just expositing that narrative lore. and I find it really charming. The visuals, of course, are stunning, and the actual journey sounds great. Comedy is on point as always, but is it the best of the bunch? I think a lot of it comes down to personal taste. But for me in particular, I think I'd put it as third. Very good. In total, that brings our rankings as follows. Toy Story Toons Partysaurus Rex, Hawaiian Vacation, Toy Story That Time Forgot, Lamplight, Toy Story Toons Small Fry, and the best of the rest is Toy Story of Terror. I did come to learn while writing this that there were also Toy Story Treats, which were Saturday morning cartoon bumpers made in 1995 to 1996. But again, there's too little to cover there. And maybe someday we'll do the full-on Buzz Lightyear cartoon. But that too isn't on DisneyPlus. Either way, feel free to suggest future spin-off projects you'd like to see us cover over on our Discord. As for now, my name's been Daz, you didn't really care, and I'll see you in a bit.